I just press go there, yeah. So just give it a few 30 seconds to a minute for it to tune in for everyone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final class balance podcast. We've got two excellent players here, Demonic and Inter, and we're going to talk about Cabbies, SMs, and Chanters. And I thank you all for tuning in. Um, just let's start with the basics. You guys want to just give us some information about you, your play style, and what you like doing on these three classes.
I guess I'll start. Um, I'm Inter. I have played all three of these classes pretty extensively. Uh, Cab and SM rank 11. Channer I've played a fair amount. Um, Mostly 8-man, some small man. Um, yeah, I don't know. Pretty, I don't know. My personal favorite out of the three is SM, but yeah.
Okay, so my name's Demo. I've been playing the cab for most of the time. I've been playing DAOC. It's rank 12. Played SM and Channer a little bit. Uh, I'd say cab is probably my favorite out of the three. Um, Mostly playing 8-man, a little bit of small. Don't really solo much. Used to a little bit, but not anymore.
Okay, well, I guess when we talk about your guys' current specs, let's maybe talk about one class at a time. Let's start with Cabbie. How are you guys spec'd, and then how many viable specs are there for your playstyle out there?
You want to start on that, Dima?
Sure. Right now I'm 46 spirit, uh, 25 body, and 13 matter. You can go that spec will give you the red body debuff and your gray near sight, but you can go 47 for the purple spirit debuff, but you're gonna have to go 24 body and 11 matter, and I'd rather body 25 matter, or like 33 spirit, 28 body, 32 matter, and that'll give you like yellows across, but I think that the red body debuff is probably more worth it these days.
Yeah, I'm the same spec as him on my cabbie. I think, like, obviously, as he said, there are a few.
Is probably more worth it these days.
Yeah, I'm the same spec as him on my cabbie. I think, like, obviously, as he said, there are a few specs, but for my playstyle at least, I just 8-manned on cabbie, and you're expected to be the main assist in that group, so you just run on that body train. And just, I think that the 46 spirit spec, is really the best spec possible, and I don't really see a reason to run any other one, for at least for my playstyle.
What about Spirit Master? Uh, how are you guys spec'd? How do you expect a Spirit Master to spec in small man or 8-man?
I am currently 49 dark, 22 sup, I believe. Um, I go 49 dark because it gives me the red energy debuff as well for Thanes. So I can, if we are running Thanes in a group, I can double debuff. And like when I was running small man on my SM, we had SM and Thane as our 2 DPS, so I was double debuffing Spirit and Energy. But you don't have to go 49 Darkness. A lot of SMs don't. I think they stop at, I think it's 47, but I'm not really
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, 47. So
47 for your
that's,
life tap.
yeah, that's about it. Obviously, you can go Suppression if you're trying to P-Bay. I know a lot of maybe like SMs in the Zerg or something would prefer to be that. But for 8-man and small man, I preferred the 47 or 49 Darkness spec. That works because you can be an assist on a dark train or a cold train, and you can also be the MA for a Spirit and Energy train, so it works pretty well.
I'm basically the same spec. I only went 47 dark though. Again, to try to raise some variance points in sup. SM doesn't really have that strong of a nuke to begin with, and rather just try to help it out all it can for the occasion that you're going to be grouping like a Thane or something like that. Could debuff for itself if it needed, or the yellow should be fine. But they're both good specs.
Okay, and what about Channers? You guys normally run a certain set, or does that change depending on who's in your group? What spec you are?
I'm 48 mana, 24 light, I believe, is what because you get the next level P-Bay. I think that's pretty general for any Channer that is going to be the main assist for that group. But light Channers are also very viable. They nuke pretty hard, and you can see them in some heat trains. But yeah, that's like 2 different viable specs. I don't know exactly how high you go in light if you're gonna go full, light Channer, but yeah, it's a pretty strong, just like DPS caster if you were to run a light Channer, but you would also want a mana Channer in the group.
Yep, mine's the same way. Same spec, and like you said, light Channer could be really strong, but you're going to want to make sure that you have the mana Channer as well.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about strengths of each of these classes. And I know, obviously, they're all pet classes, probably why they're all in the same podcast. But starting with the cab, what are the biggest strengths that you guys see for the cab?
Concerning its pet?
No, the class in general, the Cabalist.
I mean, it's could debuff for itself. It has its own debuff for a life tap, which is, already has a base damage increase. It's class with a pet, gets long range near sight, can disease its own targets, has root as a form of CC. It's a pretty nice class. Its weakness, I guess, would be its defense. It doesn't really have much.
Yeah, I would agree with him. They're pretty good, utility, but they also don't have a way to defend themselves. So that's kind of one of their weaknesses, I would say. I was thinking more along the lines of like, if you were soloing on a Cabalist and you encountered some sort of tank, like you have no way of really saving yourself, unless, you like mock life tap or something if you're high enough rank, but even then there's no guarantee. So I think that their defense is obviously their biggest weakness.
I don't know if you, if you wanted to just cover the strength and weakness now, or
Let's do it. You guys already started.
All right, that's they also, I mean, I feel like they've kind of been left out with the pet demezes. Like almost every other class that has a pet has its own demez for its pet. Uh, the cab doesn't have anything. I mean, it could release it and remake it, but you're not going to want to do that when it's fully buffed and has resist. Like if you look at SM has a pet demez, the Channer has it. I mean, and I mean those I guess you consider it's almost equals I guess on other realms. I just feel like it should have the demez to be able to compete with the rest.
Plus, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like when we talk about defense, we kind of have to talk about the cab rank 5. And just the pet in general, we have to talk about the cab rank 5 because,
Yeah.
you know, the cab rank 5 gives you that minute immunity on it, but I feel like unless you're fighting against a full tank group that can't take the time to clear the pet, that even if it's, you know, ML9, rank 5, cab pet, it's really not going to live that long if you're fighting a competent group. But, so, I don't know, I think, you know, Dima and I were talking about maybe getting a different rank 5, getting a defensive one, and trying to get a pet demez for it to kind of even it up with the other two, like Cabbie and the Channer and SM.
And that just also goes along with a lot of other casters. I mean, most of them have defensive rank 5s. Cab is one of the only that has an offensive one. But I think it would be a nice balance out for the cab to get the pet demez and then get a defensive rank 5 instead of the offensive.
Especially with the way the tanks are now. Tanks have gotten a little bit of a boost, and it's, I don't know, I feel like it would be pretty helpful for cabbies to, you know,
and
be able to
like,
save themselves from those tanks.
Yeah, and like a weakness that would go with it is like, if you think about the hybrid setups on the other realms, they each have 3 casters that are pretty dedicated to nuking. Alb, you have one in the main CC'er that you're calling to assist mostly. So the cab has to try to stand alone most of the time. And it's mitigate, like everything, you can just get rid of that class. I mean, it's debuffed, it's stunned, it's got pet procs on it, you gem it, it's just, with one solo nuker, it's hard. I mean, you want to keep that guy alive.
Yeah, in a hybrid, you're basically relying on the cabbie to be able to kill things, but if you just stick one person to him, you know, he's kind of negated pretty hard.
Okay, let's segue into Channers. You guys had included RR5s in this. Obviously, we're talking about a very defensive RR5 ability for the Channer. What do you guys see as the strengths and weaknesses for the Channer?
Well, now that Channers have, you know, root, I think that is super strong. That was a really good addition for Channers, and it allows them, you know, because like, you know, Eldritch and Mentalist are, you know, the 2 most common casters that are played with the Channer, and they don't have roots, so it's nice that the Channer can be able to, you know, be this sole rooter in the back line. I mean, obviously you have like Druid and Bard and stuff, but I think that also made them very strong in, not very strong, but, you know, they're decently strong in small mans as well, in solo, now that they have stun and root.
Yeah, I don't have too much experience with Channer, but the fact that they have, you know, the root, stun, pet demez, they have multiple forms of CC, and they're overall pretty solid. I mean, the only thing that I would ever be disappointed with them is that you're constantly debuffing for other people, you're nuking for nothing, but
yeah, you don't nuke very hard at all, especially at low rank on a Channer. I'm mana
they're
Channer
like
at
a
least,
team
but
player class.
yeah.
Okay, now what about SMs? How do they fit in here with their strengths and weaknesses?
I think SMs are an awesome class. Um, they, I would say, I would argue that they have, out of the three classes we're discussing, I would argue that they have the most utility.
Yeah.
You know, they have single target mez, AoE mez, PBAE mez, DMez, root, double dex debuffs, you know,
Con debuff.
strength on
Haste
debuff.
debuff.
They, what's it called? They have a pretty, you know, their pet's all right. Obviously, it's nothing crazy, but it's pretty good pet.
The
They,
intercept's really nice on that though.
yeah, it is, and they can play. They can be played all different ways. Like I would say like an SM is viable solo. It's one of the few casters that is pretty decent solo, because they have life tap. And, you know, obviously if you're high enough rank, you can really save yourself with that. Plus they have a really strong rank 5 that they can save themselves with. That's a good example of a defensive rank 5, but
What's nice with the SM is also you can go one spec and that's going to get you whether you're going to be the MA or whether you're in a dark train.
basically.
So, you know, you're not having to respec and stuff like you will on other classes, depending on what kind of group you're in. The SM, you could stay the same spec.
Yeah, you can be the debuffer that, you know, MAs, or you can be part of the DPS train by life tapping. So it's a pretty good class both ways. I don't really know too many ways that it would need to be balanced. I don't know if Demo has any ideas on that, but
No, the class is a really strong class. I mean, you get so much utility from it.
I've played it extensively small man and 8-man, and I would say that it was a really strong class both ways.
What I think though, like in this regards, the SM and the cab, I think it would be nice if the life transfer could be a part of the game again and kind of be useful. But like people over the years, like, you know, people's life and shit and stuff has been increasing with CLs and stuff like that. And the life transfer delves, I don't think have really changed. And I think it'd be nice to start to be able to use that ability more.
The only time I ever used life transfer was playing Molvik when I would play on Sword Cab Duo, and that was the only time I ever used life
I think on my
transfer
cab, I think it'll heal for like 200.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, undiseased and stuff like that. I think it'd be nice if there was a way to get that spell used again in the game.
So that's a perfect example of maybe the next question here. What things are less than useful, and sort of what would you propose to change to make them more useful?
Well, like it's like the life transfer, for example. The AoE snare on the Cabalist, it's not particularly useful. I find that if I'm gonna want to snare, if I have to do it through a spell, I'm gonna have to root something. The snare just doesn't really do you any good. It's like 40% snare or something. It just ends up giving immunity. I'm trying to think of some other unused.
If you're are you talking about Cabbie only, or?
No, all of them I think.
No, let's go all
saying?
three.
Well, I mean, enchantments. I'm a enchanter. I don't see that being too useful. I don't know. I think if you were gonna do enchantments, you would have to make it somehow. I don't know. Obviously, you would have to buff the pet, but it would have to make it significantly stronger. Like I don't know. I don't know what to do about the enchantment line, to be honest with you, but I do think that it could use some reworking, because I think the only time I ever see an enchantment chanter is when it's a damage add bot, so.
You think people use it in PvE at all?
Maybe, but I think they still just, like in PvE, you still just kind of like go mana and just bomb
Yeah, I'm not
things.
sure why you would. I'm not sure why you'd want to go enchantment.
Yeah. It would
Let's
have
talk-
to, I think it would
anyway.
have to buff the pet somehow. It would have to make the pet super strong, and that's what you would be risking or sacrificing, DPS or utility or whatever just to get the to get like a super strong pet, but I don't know exactly how you would make the pet that strong.
I like it. Let's talk about recent changes or changes over the past couple years on these classes, good or bad. And I know one of them was the change in debuff from 50% to 40%. Do you guys, we can start with that one, and then maybe move to others. I mean, did that affect your playstyle at all?
I don't think so. I don't think it really made a difference. Like right now, I would say casters are still stronger than tanks, but tanks have obviously gotten a lot of help as of late, so it's kind of evened itself out. I don't think, a 40% debuff is like, some injustice to casters compared to the 50%. So I don't really see why that would be a big issue.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I had stopped playing when that happened. Before I left, I remember being able to completely destroy with the 50%, and duos would be able to take full group, stuff like that, and come back, and I'm nuking for much less than what I was prior. But I mean, the damage from the 50%, maybe it needed the nerf back then, but maybe it could be reintroduced, I don't know, or some sort of way. I just feel like casters, unless it's a full caster group, like if we're talking hybrid, the caster damage is really easily taken away by the tanks, with pet proc weapons and debuffs and, just harp gem,
Especially
everything.
for a
It just,
cabbie,
yeah, I mean,
because
that
the
class
cabbie's
gets
a
just,
nuker,
it gets completely shut down. But I think that the damage, I don't know, it was noticeable though, I'd say.
Obviously,
So you guys
caster damage is still super strong, but I guess you could increase it, but I don't know how happy tanks would be right now because, all the tank players are just starting to get happy that they're catching up to casters.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and the issue is, like, if you had a full caster group, it's much more noticeable, the power of a caster, than, in, like, the hybrid setting or
Exactly.
whatever. It'd be way too strong. Well, that's just the issue.
I personally think that, even though I'm a caster player, I think that it's pretty balanced at the moment.
You guys mentioned briefly sort of the debuffs. Are you referring specifically to like to the DF patch with the weapons and things like that?
What do you mean by the debuffs? Like, are you talking about like negating casters, like debuff
Right.
negating casters? Well, you have like Gem of the Harbinger, like arrogance charges. You have
Oh, yeah, and then, like, I mean, just stat debuffs.
yeah, you have stat debuffs from, if you get double dex debuffed on a caster, plus your like zone of unmanned, it's like you're playing Thid Ranky, like you're casting, super slow. So
Yeah, it's just, you either
Plus,
stat debuff, the pet proc weapon, the DF, or the Gem of the Harbinger, or,
mhm.
or zoned, or then someone drops an MOH neck on you if you're
Yeah,
finally free
if
of
you
all
have
that stuff, and then you're dead.
Neck on you, you're dead. Like, MOH neck, even you know,
You need
on
the
other
arrogance or you're
tanks
dead.
and stuff. Yeah, basically. Anytime. Sometimes I'll even purge it. Like, I'll purge that debuff just to save myself. But, yeah. You got Zerkers, Vendo, Bane Spike, Medal of Honor debuff, not, like, just dropping people in 2 seconds.
So you guys mentioned you think casters are maybe in a pretty good place right now, but if you could do anything to change these classes, maybe start with the Cabbie, what would you change and why?
For the Cabbie, I would change the rank 5. I would change rank 5, make it more defensive, and give them a pet demez. I mean, it can still involve their pet, just like the SM involves their pet and the Chanter involves their pet, but I don't know exactly how it would implement, but you know, if it just maybe some sort of melee absorption or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think we, talked a lot about that earlier, but I think the main thing would be the rank 5 and the pet demes. I mean,
What about,
sorry.
oh, if you're done, let's talk SMs. What would you do to change them?
I don't think that class really needs any change.
I honestly can't think of anything that a SM needs changed. I don't think they're an incredibly super strong class, and I don't think they're hurting at all. Um, yeah, I don't know.
They just
They're
bring so
pretty,
much utility. They're very
yeah, they bring
solid.
a lot of utility to a lot of different setups and playstyles. So I think they're a really strong class. I haven't heard or seen any Spirit Master complaining particularly about anything. Um, so I don't know.
What about Chanters? Anything you'd change? Obviously, we talked about enhancement.
Yeah, enhancement, enchantment, whatever. But I don't know. I don't see making them nuke any harder. Do you like Demo? What's the delve on the heat nuke, baseline heat nuke for Channers?
179.
Do you know?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
179.
Channers just seem to nuke for crap. I mean, that's about it. But they're like Demo said before, they're like a team player type of class. If you're a mana chanter, light chanters nuke
You,
super hard.
if your mana, you're not putting many points into light, so your variance is pretty bad. So that's
Yeah,
why your heat nuke seems so terrible.
yeah,
And I mean, the other people with you are nuking for 209 delve nukes, spec
yeah,
nukes. So
exactly. Yep, you're just team player. But light channers fine. Uh, it's just kind of one of those classes where if you're only running like 3 casters, you kind of want a Ment and an Eld. So light channers don't really get to play too often. But if you're running like 4 caster, I could totally see a light chanter being viable for sure.
What master levels do you guys use for these classes?
Convoker.
yep, there's really no other option if you're
I mean, if you're Zerging, then I can
right.
totally see why Stormlord would be a viable ML spec line for you. But for solo 8-man small man, I think that Convoker has too many things that are necessary. Speed warps are super strong. As I'm pretty sure the mid Zerg made note of on the RVR Balance podcast.
It was definitely noted. Was there anything else you guys want to bring up about these classes or discuss?
Um, I didn't have no. I don't think anything specific. What about you, Dimo?
Not that I can think of. I mean,
Really just the defensive, just getting something defensive for cabbies would be
it could also
nice.
be a cool idea to maybe relook at the body line for Cabbalists. Their spec nuke in there is is a lower delve nuke than your baseline life tap, but it has a higher return. I think it also has a slightly better base damage percent, but I think that spec line would be nice to be able to see like two cabbie groups, so that a body cab, if you spec body, can actually get a decent spec nuke. Because right now it's not worth it to go body, and you're basically going to be running like two of the same spec cabs in a group instead of being able to get more out of one.
I like it. Well, actually, I really thanks, guys. Thanks so much for this chat. And I believe Beebs has some potentially time card giveaway that she wants to do.
Yeah, I will give away a 1 month time code. This one was nice, short and sweet. Yeah, I love it.
Did you
Quick
want to
and
handle that,
painless.
Beebs?
Yeah, cool. I got a giveaway thing here. So just anyone chat, get ready for a time code giveaway. I'll pull it up. Okay, that's up on screen now. Um, I have a slight delay on here of about a minute and a half, so it'll be roughly around that long to give the time code. Won't be too bad. Say about 2 minutes for everyone to see the keyword in chat, and then about that to pick the winner. After the winner is picked, I will wait for the person who wins. I normally only give 30 seconds, but because of the delay I've on since I was in Malvik and Cahill, I'll make an exception this time. Inter, you're not allowed to take part. You won too many, that's it. You've reached your quota.
I'm forever banned.
Yeah, gotta let someone get learn to talk. Gotta give someone else a chance to win. Okay, so roughly about 2 minutes for everyone to enter the time code. Did the thingy come up on screen? I just want to make sure it comes up on screen, so bear with me a second. There wasn't really much going on PvE wise because this was just the downtime between EU and US prime time, so um, trying to show off the BGs a little, so I put a slight delay on it, so I'm feeling the effects of that now for the giveaway. I forgot about this part.
Can't you like restart the stream and take the delay off? Is it not worth it?
I don't think so, but the window should be up by now, so I think I've done something wrong. Yay!
I see the window on the stream.
Oh, okay, grand. Yeah, there it is. See it now. I'm gonna give the keyword. Okay, so about 2 minutes to enter it, and then I will pick a winner. Okay, so the keyword for the time code giveaway is !podcast. You need the exclamation mark in all small letters, PODCAST. So 2 minutes, everyone in chat, time podcast. Okay, well, that is going on. This is our last night podcast for a while. I think everybody kind of needs a break. These are pretty full on, especially poor Cole today. I think he got dragged left, right, and center. We have one more podcast to come. It'll be a dev one, reaction and their thoughts on the upcoming class podcast, or class balance, not class podcast. So keep an eye out. There'll be details on the hurl of that next few days, early next week at the latest, hopefully. So, raffle. I should have done exclamation mark raffle. I never think of it in time. Yeah. So keep an eye on the hurl. So. Oh, poor Demo. That's not fair, Pan, is that? That is, I stopped doing the time code giveaways on the Saturday nights as well because I changed the time I usually do my dev stream on to earlier, and I just keep forgetting to do the time code giveaways. So we'll be going back to giving them away there since there won't be podcasts for a couple of months. In the meantime, we'll be working on the class balance patch, restructuring the nights, maybe getting a few more nights, beefing them up a bit. Oh, and the 5v5 event as well. So if you haven't signed up for that, don't forget to.
Enter for night 2K16.
I was waiting for it. Are you guys putting a team in for the 5v5?
I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll play. I just don't know exactly who I'll be playing with.
Yeah, I might be in the same boat.
Cool, it should be exciting. I don't think we'll have sign-ups available till late June, early July-ish, all the details out. So it's another one to keep your eyes out for.
Yeah, I
Really?
missed
Seriously,
last
guys,
time, but it
thanks.
looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was I was just watching, but it was really and chatting, chat and streaming it and everything. But that was really
What,
enjoyable.
the last 5v5?
Yeah.
It was pretty fun, yeah. I wish I had a different setup, but take what I can get. It was fun. We did well.
Yeah.
I wish I'd had you guys talking on some of the other class podcasts.
It's straight and to the point.
We should have invited Snoop to this one. Talk about vamp debt.
Silence.
Debt 9
It'd be
is
cool.
coming.
It'd be cool to do like a class balance podcast after the RVR balance or after the class balance patches in and like see people's reactions and like stuff like that.
Just see if it needs to be tweaked. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
Carol.
that's a
I'm sure
good
Carol
idea.
wants to do another set of podcasts.
I'm not
Come
saying like
on.
10, maybe like 1 or 2.
Carol can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'd say maybe the first one we'll do will be the one either before or after the 5v5 event, kind of maybe around there. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, maybe late July we might do just something like how are things now
Overall
with the
thoughts.
classes or something. Yeah, how things.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Obi after the 5v5 on the Saturday last year, he did the Sunday podcast, just interviewing some people and how they got on it. It was good as well. It was just as much fun. Listen to the after talk. People were still talking about that. What was it? Lose and Coogie's group fight in Cornwall.
mhm. Yeah, that was a good fight. We had a terrible setup to fight Kuji's group. We ended up having to fight them 2 different rounds, which sucked.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But it was fun. I had a good time. It didn't take too long either. Fights were going quickly. Though if you do get more groups than last time, you might need to do a little adjustments on like maybe having 2 fights at the same time or something. I don't know. I don't know how that could work, but
I only got to watch like the finals and stuff like that. Were there
yeah.
any fun setups that were brought out, like like 5 scalds or anything?
Nothing too fun. No, there were some setups that obviously had no shot at winning, but um, nothing like crazy. Not like 5 SBs or something like that.
Oh, okay. Were there any stealth groups?
Nope. I don't think any group had a stealther. Did I win, Carol?
No, there was no stealthers. No, you didn't win. The winner is I can't pronounce it. Erihje, Erihje. So congrats, Erihje. If you're in chat, to say something. That'll be 2 minutes because of my delay. Yeah, remind me not to do this next time.
Well, I have to run, but seriously, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll see you out there.
See ya.
Yeah, cheers, Cole. Thanks, Mel, for adjusting your schedule to suit. Appreciate it. Okay, I'll just make sure Erihje claims and then.
And then if he
There we go.
doesn't, it just defaults to me, right?
No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like if he doesn't claim, but I'm sure he's here. I'm sure he's watching. He'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop it and redo it without a delay.
All right, I have to go as well, but I appreciate the invitation to talk.
Cheers, Demo. Thanks a mil.
See ya.
I don't know why you keep getting deleted, Madivo. I don't know what you're doing. I'll check that out. Talk
I
to
don't
me
know. He might
afterwards.
be spamming something.
I think all I just saw is question marks. So maybe it's not liking question marks. I'll have to check it out and see.
Did that guy respond to you, or?
It's coming up. Yeah, this
I
is
see
why I
there's a
don't
timer
delete
on the
today's.
stream. What is it?
Yeah, it goes. I am way Yeah, this is why I don't do the like. Okay, yes, he's there.
Oh, he just said something in
Congratulations. Yeah.
chat.
Woo! Okay, excellent. Thanks, Inter, Demo, and Co. again.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.